Valentin McGillney of the Soviet Union working on one of his specialties, the pommel horse.
As I mentioned before, Charlie, this is my guy right here. If he is going to have a challenge in the all-around competition, he's going to do it by a great performance here. Look at this work on the end of the horse. That's called a Magyar spindle, named after Zoltan Magyar, but he never did it quite like this. Oh, no! There it goes, my guy. I cannot believe that just happened, Charlie. He was doing the most outrageous pommel horse routine I've ever seen and completely lost his balance.
And what is even more interesting as far as that story goes is yesterday he had the top score in the team competition on the pommel horse, a 9.90, and today he just blew it.
What a shame, because I noticed during the warm-up, actually, he was having trouble with that part of his exercise. But one thing typical of the Soviet gymnasts is they never water down. They do all the big tricks every time. You can see he's crawling across the horse here, and it looked to me like he must have been leaning just a little too far back as he tried to travel back up to the pommel as he was headed for the end. Very unfortunate, because he'll finish the rest of this exercise, but that is a half a point deduction at least. The maximum score he could possibly expect would be 9.5.
9.90 was the score in the team competition on the pommel horse. We'll await a score right now. You're looking at the young man, 20 years of age. He attends Kemerovo State University, and that's up in the Ural Mountains. He began his gymnastics career back in 1975.
It's such a shame, Charlie, because he is such an outstanding gymnast that I'm really disappointed that actually he wasn't able to make a strong challenge here in the all-around.
9.40, so that's a very disappointing score for him after the 9.9 in the team competition. Korolev preparing for the vault. We've seen a lot of him tonight.
I tell you what, he's had a great competition. We talked right at the onset of the show that consistency is the name of the game. He has scored 9.8 in every event he's performed in tonight.
Yuri Korolev on the runway.
Wow!
Oh, did he stick it?
Perfect landing. Now that was a one-armed layout Tsukahara, and I know, and we saw on the floor exercise earlier, that he stung his ankles on one of his tumbling passes, but it sure looked like it didn't bother him there.
We saw, like you said, a 9.80 on the rings, a 9.8 on the floor. Yesterday, a 9.6 on the vault. This was one of his worst scores. He had the top score of all the participants in the team competition.
And I have always contended that he's not the best gymnast in the world, but nobody's going to outcompete him. Look at this. Perfect position in the air, excellent form, and he knows how to make those landings. When everybody's having trouble, he's going to nail them.
He's 23 years of age, married, has a son. And there's the scores for Mr. Yuri Korolev, 9.7, 9.9, 9.8 maybe?
Yep.
And a 9.7.
Would make an average of 9.75.
So it's about 1/1500th of a point better than yesterday, where he had a 9.60, but he comes out with a 9.75. Vladimir Artyomov, Soviet Union parallel bars, yesterday in the team competition, a 9.60 in this apparatus.
And the door is open for him here because Mogilny has made a major mistake on the pommel horse. He was about a half a point ahead of Artyomov. So if Artyomov nails this exercise, he's going to even the score and catch up with Mogilny for second spot. If not, go ahead.
Artyomov is a student of Vladimir Teachers Training Institute in the Soviet Union.
That press move he did was called a Manna. It was actually invented by a gymnast from the States named Bob Manna, who actually coached me on parallel bars for the first couple of years. What an exercise. There is a great routine. Two beautiful back tosses and a perfectly stuck double back.
And you're seeing the Soviet athletes at their best right now. They're sticking those dismounts. Fantastic, isn't it?
And that's what it takes in the all-around competition if you want to stay in contention.
Score for Artyomov, 9.9. One judge gave him a 10. It was a good routine.
Wang Chong-sung of China. He's a student at Beijing Institute of Physical Education. Beijing, the capital of China. He's in his 5th rotation, and he's currently in 5th place. He's working the pommel horse.
He starts with loops, and look at this work. With perfect body line, he travels all the way across the horse and back. Now back up to the middle. Nice flare up to a handstand. Oh, good work on the scissors. Notice the great extension. Perfect form, excellent rhythm, and nice work, a full pirouette dismount. I've never seen that one done before.
Whole new team for China, and they're doing very well, right, Kathy?
Like the United States, they're rebuilding right now. And even though they sent a young, inexperienced team here, they've got a lot of standouts like this young man.
Wang Xiangsung of China. He's had 3 9.7s already today, except on the vault. Well, he had a 9.7 on every apparatus except the vault. He had a 9.6 there. Let's see what he scores here on the pommel horse.
Okay, another 9.7. You know, Charlie, I think the guy got ripped. He should have had at least a 9.8 or a 9.9.
And that's his 4th 9.7 of the day. So let's check the standings after 5 rotations. The Soviets still holding down the top 3 spots with Korolev, Mogilny, and Artyomov.
We'll return with more Turner Network Television Goodwill Games coverage after this from our...
Had one of the best scores on this apparatus yesterday, a 9.75, which was tied for first.
Okay, he does a shoot to a handstand, and now he's doing an inverted cross, a whip it to an iron cross. It's really a shame that he had such a terrible fall off the pommel horse, because I know he'd be challenging now for the all-around championship with this exercise. Instead, he's hanging on to second place, barely above Artyomov.
And this is the young man you like, the gymnast of the future for the Soviet Union.
I really feel like he has everything it takes to be the best gymnast in the world. Look at that execution. Perfect layout double back.
And he's really given us a show this evening. Valentin Mogilny, 20 years of age from the Soviet Union. He just completed his last rotation on the rings.
Oh, my. Why couldn't I be the coach?
I tell you, Kathy, I found out over the last few years that when the gymnast finishes the competition, they do get a kiss on the lips from their coach. I guess if you win a medal, you get a kiss. I just as soon have been 4th place.
Valentin Mogilny. Now, earlier in his first 2 events, he had 9 9s on the parallel bar and the high bar. Here on the rings, he finishes with a 9.7. Now, this keeps him in 2nd place behind countryman Yuri Korolev.
Vladimir Artyomov on high bar. His final rotation, he's had a fantastic evening.
Вольное упражнение выполняет Ким Чхоль Нам, Корейская Народно-Демократическая Республика.
Nice work, one-arm giant swing. Okay, now here comes a combination of release moves. Reverse act, right to a ginger. Okay, he was in a little bit close, but he did a great job at keeping the rhythm, getting back into giant swings. Beautiful extension. There's a stalder. Now he'll do a pirouette, pick up speed for his dismount, which is a full twisting double back, and a little hop on the landing. A little easier dismount than he did the day before, but I think he was very concerned about those slippery mats as well. Let's take a look at his inverted giant swing right there. Nice stalder. Just perfect line, perfect extension. 2 flips, 1 twist. He spots the landing. A little bit of a hop, but still a great exercise.
And a 9.80 the score for Vladimir Artyomov. He had a 9.75 on the high bar in the team competition. A 9.80 today.
Испания.
Sven Tepelt is from Leipzig, a city in the southern part of East Germany. He's in 7th place right now, 5/100ths of a point behind Charlie Lakes of the United States.
Look at this work. He does nice flares. He's traveling up the pommels, down the pommels, all the way to the end and back. That's very difficult stuff. He actually has pretty long arms. He has his hips way above the pommels on all of these back more moves. Okay, his scissors are a little bit weak there. And actually, the last half of this exercise is kind of weak, but the first half was fantastic. He's glad to be done.
21 years of age. Looks like a good one.
You know, Bart, I'm really surprised by him. He really kind of snuck into the standings. It shows a lot of talent, though.
Well, you can tell here on these flares, he has tremendous extension in his hips above the horse. Those pommels are about 5 inches off the horse, so he has to have tremendous clearance just to get over them.
Oh, yesterday on the parallel bars, he had a fantastic performance, and we'll wait his score right now. Sven Tippelt of East Germany, a 9.70.
This is Charles Lakes, his final rotation of the evening. He'll be working on the rings.
Charlie has had a really great meet. I'm very pleased to see in this strong international field that Charlie has been able to keep up with the top of the pack here. There's a front lever strength move at the beginning of his exercise.
This meet has to be a great confidence builder for him.
Absolutely, and of course he got off to a good start there with a double whippet to a piked whippet. This is not Charlie's best event though, so I'm sure he'll be glad when this one's over with.
He's been so aggressive throughout this competition now.
9,7 оценка Юкихоро Хаясе за выполнение.
Okay, a very nice full twisting double back and a good landing. Not a great exercise. You can tell that he doesn't have the line and the extension that the Soviet gymnasts have, but that comes with polish and a lot of years of experience on international competition standards. But Charlie had a great competition altogether.
He certainly did. He has a smile on his face. He finished as the top American in this individual all-around competition. He was the last man to qualify for the United States team at the Nationals that was sent here to the Goodwill Games, and he had the highest score of the Americans in the team competition yesterday, and he comes out with a big night tonight.
Notice in his handstand there, he's in good control, but he doesn't have a real strong line like you'll see from a Mogilny or from a Martiamov. But he's very explosive, and he does a very nice full twisting double back, and he knows how to land them.
.930, the score for Charlie Lakes on the rings.
Charlie Lakes, we talked about the importance of consistency in these international competitions. You had it all together, 12 for 12. You have to feel good about that.
Yeah, it's what I trained for the entire year, hitting 12 out of 12 events, and I was able to do it finally.
And we've talked about your change in attitude. What does it take for you to all of a sudden come in from being rather inconsistent to really nailing all these exercises in very important and significant competition?
You have to want it, Barty. You have to want to be able to do everything in the gym that you have to get there.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You just saw the interview with Charlie Lakes, the top American finisher. The Soviets started out the day owning the top three scores. They finished the day the same way. It's Goryev picking up the gold medal. You see him in the middle, Mogilny, the silver, while Artyomov gets the bronze. Tomorrow, the individual apparatus finals. Top 8 from the team competition. On each apparatus, they'll perform for us in tomorrow's competition as we wrap up the men's gymnastics competition here in Moscow. For Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, this is Charlie Neal saying so long from the Olympic Sports Complex.
Tonight, but had